Synner, by the way.
Hey, welcome everybody. Joe Wentz Project Live broadcast number 8. We're just sitting here shooting the breeze. We have Adam Scheinberg's in the house, David Allen Wright, and Synner. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it, man. Hope y'all are doing well.
I'm doing great, Joe.
Good.
I know. I got a screw right here. Hold on.
Hey, oh my goodness gracious alive. Synner, you doing okay, Joe? Man? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just
hey, can I see the chat box? How do I get the chat box on while on this? Can I or no?
I don't know. I don't think you can while you're on your phone, unless you got another device.
No, I'm on my computer. I'm on the computer.
Yeah, if you're on the computer, just go on my YouTube page.
I see, on the YouTube page.
But you have to give it a couple of minutes. There's like a delay, right? You know what I'm saying? Wait for the video to go live, and then just go to the chat box, and you can see it that way. Just like you would if you was doing Johnny's or anybody else's. You just have to, you have to wait just a couple of seconds,
Gotcha.
There's a delay. But, yeah, so David Allen Wright, how are you, sir?
I'm doing really well. How are you tonight, Joe?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I see you got some nice striped guitars there.
Oh, yeah. I actually found the screw I just dropped. So.
Okay, good.
All right. I'll show you a couple of my 5150 guitars I've got. I've got 4 of these things. Give me 1 second here. Sorry, dead air. What it is I actually have 4 5150 Kramer guitars. This is harder to do when I thought. So,
Jim Guidry, right. What's happening, Jim Guidry? Go ahead, Dave. I'm just saying hello to the chat box, man. Jim Guidry, good evening, man. Thanks for joining, man.
Yeah, I got the chat box now.
Good deal.
Okay, so this is I was talking earlier in Facebook a couple of days ago about some old Kramer guitars I've got. I actually have an old EVH Kramer 5150 that was built by Mitchell at Main Street Guitars before his site got taken down years ago. This is actually an old one. It's a relic version. It's an incredible guitar. It's got a unique sound to it. It's it's got a popular body, and it's got a James Duff. This one doesn't have this has got a Music Craft neck, I think, on it, or it might have been his neck he built back years ago. But it's a great little guitar. Action is very low on it. It's got a big, huge brass block in the back. You'll see the brass block, it's got the old neck plate from years ago. This one's got the C5150 on it. And you'll see it's actually got the old Gatto tuners on it back here. If you can see, it's kind of hard to see with my light, but you can see the Gattos. And then it's not 100% accurate on the stripes, but hey, it's a great little guitar, and I had to buy it years ago from him, and it's
very nice, man. I love it.
Part of my collection. Part of my collection, So
very nice.
That's number 2. Here's number 3. This one is a lot more. This is almost 100% accurate. Paint wise and stripe pattern, this is 100% accurate. Actually got the 5150 letters correct, and they're off angled. It's all perfect on that. The great thing about this guitar, it's got a James Duffy neck on it, one of these old necks, just like Paul Uncker's version. It's got the prototype Floyd Rose nut on it. And what's unique on this one is this one actually has an FRT5 Floyd Rose prototype, just like Ed's got. And the last time I saw a tremolo like this on eBay was $2,200 just for the tremolo. Dino, you remember there's a guy named Dave Nanarlio. He talked about this in a video that he talked about vintage Kramer. The secrets of the 5150. He talked about the prototype Floyd Rose. They only made so many of them, and they're hard to find, but you can still find them if you can. But you have to spend some money if you really want to get one like on Reverb or eBay. The action on this thing is very, very low. I mean, I know David Nesdell was talking about, he runs like a 3/32 seconds at the 21st fret or 22nd fret. Mine's probably closer than that in a way, because I got a couple of shims in the back of it because I wanted the neck to tilt back. You want to angle the neck to tilt back a little bit to give you relief. You hear people talk about neck relief, but this one you want to have a little bit more neck relief. And I used a steel shim, not a wood shim, but a steel shim to get better sustain. And you can actually hear it. You can use I use steel. I got it from a machine shop, and I got it machined 10,000s, 15,000s, 20,000 shims for the neck shims. And I don't know why, like, that'd be perfect for FU tone to make. Think about that. Steel shims for sustain, that's an idea I've always thought. But and this thing has a steel block on the back. The old Floyd Roses didn't use brass; they used steel. Like Eddie's 5150 had a steel block back here. It's a I'll show you another one here in a second, another Floyd Rose. This is, and it's actually got the old steel bar, the big block steel bar for the, and it's got Gatto tuners on it. On the back, you'll see it's got Gattos. It's a great guitar, man. And let me show you what a steel block looks like right here. Here's actually a tremolo I got yesterday in the mail from Japan. And this is actually an FRT7. This is the Fernandez version. And it actually has the steel block. You'll see the steel block back here. You'll see the Floyd Rose. It's actually really very faded, but it's steel block. And the sustain is incredible with the steel blocks, but nobody's ever produced those. If you find one of these old tremolos, it's going to be hard to get parts because nobody's ever reproduced those parts ever.
Right.
Nobody's ever reproduced an FRT5 or FRT7 Floyd Rose. If you can find one, you've got to grab them because the collectors are looking for them, So.
What are those worth, David?
What's that?
What are those ones worth?
The FRT7s, I'm seeing about 600 to 700. Alien, what's that website on eBay? Alienation or whatever it is. You remember that they sell all the stuff? They were selling one for like $650, FRT7. I think it's the name of Alienation. I think it's the name of it.
I think I've heard of that, yeah.
And they sell a lot of old stuff. You'll find some old Floyd Rose lock nuts. And now another thing, the lock nuts on the old prototypes are different. Some of them are different from each other. So you got to be careful because you'll have a FRT, like a FRT3, a FRT5, FRT4. A 3 is supposed to be 1.58, 1 5/8. Now there's a 1 3/4 and 1 11/16, but they're all in metric. So you have to be careful when you buy one. You have to figure out which one you're going to put the neck on. So when I buy one, I will get one for like a 1 5/16, 1 5/8, or I might get one for like a 1 3/4 inch neck. It depends on the neck I'm going after, but every one of them are different. They have their own sizing charts, but it's all in millimeters. So always look at it from a millimeter perspective, not inches. So
cool, man. Nice. Sean Mahoney's in the chat. Thank you, Sean, for being in there. And I see Adam is doing some responding. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adam. How long have you had those guitars, Dave?
I've had the Mean Street guitar for probably 7 years, maybe 7 or 8 years, because I bought it way when he had the site up. You remember the old Mean Street guitars? He was actually painting them and stuff before he got shut down. Right. He got a cease and desist letter, most of all the people. All that started around 96, 97, when the EVH brand took off again, or actually got built, and they started enforcing the trademarks. And I bought it then, and then this one here, the third version, I got about 2 years ago, something like that. And I have the 84 model, and most people know about the 84. I got one just like that, but the neck was broke. The neck broke.
Man.
The neck broke right here, just like Ed's. It broke right in this area. In shipping from FedEx, it was in Memphis, and it fell 14 feet off of the back of a truck, and the trailer run over the case.
Oh man!
So the neck broke right in this area, just like Ed's. I'm going to eventually probably use that neck and build a 7th tuner here eventually, later on. But I've got to replace the neck for the 84 to complete the 84 model eventually. But
right,
it's I haven't really. I got to play it for like 2 minutes before I had to take the neck off. Man, I wanted to cry when I got it out of the case. Man, it's an incredible guitar, but I will get it repaired soon, and get it back up to full playability. So, and I've got I actually got an FRT5 for that one too, because and my thought, I've always had a FRT for the 5150 now, and then the 84, and I always thought the High for Teacher had a prototype, but it may not. I can't remember the old High for Teacher guitar,
Right.
But you could see some of his guitars at Hard Rock restaurants. You'll look at the old tremolos, and you could tell right offhand if it's an old Floyd Rose prototype with a whale tail.
Yeah. Now, let me go around the room here. Adam, you have an EVH guitar as well, don't you?
I do.
Would you like to go into?
I can't show it now. It's down in my den.
No, that's fine. Just talk about what it is, if you don't mind.
I got the standard translucent or transparent blue.
Right.
It's great. Plays well. It's nice. It's smooth. As for as often as I get a chance to play it, it works for me. And I get a chance to play as near as I'd like to.
Right.
God knows I need to practice.
What kind of amp do you have?
I just got a little one. I got a little Reverb 25.
Oh, okay.
I've had it since my father bought it for me when I was in high school. It's just a little guy just for practicing. I don't gig or anything like that. I was never in a band. I just kind of play for fun.
Right. I understand.
Yeah. And I got a couple of old DOD pedals. I got a flanger and an old Hard Rock DOD pedal distortion, which I just took out of the closet. I kind of saw how old that battery was, and I had to take pliers to yank it out, and I think I probably busted the positive side of the connection.
Uh-oh.
So I probably won't be using that. So, but it's all good. I don't really use as much. I've been using Rocksmith to kind of reteach myself.
That's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, that's fine. I keep bothering the Rocksmith folks to put on some Van Halen stuff, but I think there's some copyright issues with that because that a deal one they had with Activision when they made the Guitar Hero game. So people are asking for it, but I would be shocked if I ever see that on there. But there's some guys out there that kind of make some mods on it. That there's some Van Halen stuff, but that's for if you have it on a PC. But right now I just have it on the PlayStation. But,
okay.
It's all good. I've been using Johnny's lessons for a couple of
things. There you go.
Yeah, for right now I'm using his Ain't Talking About Love intro.
There you go.
So I'm slowly getting the hang of that.
That's good. That's good.
You inspire me, Joe. When I see your videos, I'm like, oh man.
Thank you, man.
So the songs that you play when you air those, like the one you did the Man in the Box today, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The other day you do a few, actually even more active than usual. This week anyway. But do you teach yourself those by ear, or are you using tabs? How you learn those songs?
That comes from just being in bands and jamming with people over the years, man, and then over a period of time, a long time, you started to develop your ear, for pitch. You know what I'm saying? And then you just know you start to understand what it means when something is half a step down, or if it's standard, or just little things like that. It just takes time to tinker with it, and so that's like the video I did today. I sit there, and when I got the original or got the backing track offline, it was down half a step, and it described that in the description. So when you get those backing tracks, you're able to raise it up a step or half a step, whatever. You can raise the pitch, you know. So I knew it said, you know, E flat. I knew that was down half a step. So I raised it up because I keep my stuff in 440. And then I got it, put it on the recorder, and I started listening to it a few times and get the feel of it, you know. And after about, you know, 15 minutes, you know, I had it. And plus I get on YouTube as well and look at videos and little kind of like for some little helpful insight. You know, I'll do that too. I get on YouTube all the time to look up on some how-to videos, you know. And but after you've been playing, it just comes with time, man, with playing. And after you do that for a while, it gets easier. It's like anything else. You know, after you do it for a while and you just keep messing with it, it'll get a little bit easier and a little bit easier. And but thank you, man. I appreciate you watching. That's really cool, man. It's really awesome. And David, you said you was in bands and stuff, correct?
Yep. Yeah, I've been playing in bands. I'll tell you a brief history real quick for some people that may not know me really personally or professionally. All right. I used to race BMX bikes when I was really young, okay? Because my dad was a huge bluegrass musician and my brother is. You know, they play 8 instruments, my brother and my dad. It's like, man, I never could compete with them because, number one, I was never really a fan of bluegrass when I was growing up. You know, I was listening to the Eagles and all these bands from like 78, like Yes and all those, you know, because I never played music. So what happened was I was riding BMX bikes and I was actually running for state championship one time, I think it was like 1980 or 81 somewhere. Maybe it's so blurry now for me over the years. But what happened was a guy out of Memphis, Tennessee, and we were in Nashville here, and I was running for state championship, and he come all the way across the racetrack, takes me out and the other guy, and we go over the ramp or over the berm, land on a car, broke my left arm. And my dad's like, dude, we're going to stop because my bike was $2,800. It was a Mine Goose, you know, $2,800 bike and all aluminum back in those days. You know, that stuff.
Used to have one.
You can go to Walmart now and get the same type of bike for $100. But back in those days, it's $2,800, you know, and bike's mangled, my arm's broke. And he's like, we're going to take a break from this. And he's like, why don't you start thinking about playing music? And it's like, well, I got a broke arm, but I want a drum set. And my dad's laughing. He's like, look, there's no drums in bluegrass. You know, I'm talking about the old contemporary bluegrass. Excuse me. So what happened was, so my brother convinced my dad he wanted a drummer because my brother plays bands and all this stuff. And I turned around and I was a Def Leppard one-arm drummer for a couple of months because I had a broke left arm and I was actually playing drums and started practicing 4 or 5 hours a night. And then I excelled at drums pretty quick because I didn't realize I had natural inert talent, to be honest with you. I really didn't, because nobody really helped me until I started playing. So I used to play in different bands and stuff. And then one day, about 13 years old, or maybe early 14, I heard Boston More Than a Feeling. You remember that old acoustic sound?
Oh, yeah.
So we got a whole bunch of old acoustic guitars around the house when I was growing up, and I just picked up a guitar one day and started playing the same song. Started playing More Than a Feeling, the whole thing. You know, it's like, wow, where did this come from? So, and then I started playing guitar, and I started out on acoustic guitar and played acoustic guitar for 6 months, pretty much nonstop before I went to electric. And then I got my first electric guitar, and my brother is phenomenal at every instrument he's ever played. My dad's the same way. So whenever I was growing up learning a song, my brother would break it down. He would show me how to break it down. He would bring down the chord melody. He can listen to something and just play it right there on the spot. I mean, I didn't have the hearing at the time because I didn't know what perfect pitch was. I didn't know what relative pitch was. I didn't know any of this stuff. And then all of a sudden they taught me, you know, you listen to the song and you learn the key, and then the key has a modulation of certain, you know, key notes. And then, you know, say it's a minor, major, and all this stuff. Not to get off topic here, but I was just going to explain. It all correlates together. So when you learn music theory later, it really helps, because then you understand key modulations, keys, chord progressions. If it's a 1-3-5, 1-4-5, 1-5-7, 1-4-7, you understand the chords. And in Nashville, they use a number program here. They use numbers. So you'll hear like 175 or 147 or all these different numbers. You'll hear it. And then you'll know exactly in your key of C or key of D or whatever. It helps you to, when you learn the theory. And what I did when I was a kid, I'll show you something real quick. I memorized the fretboard on the guitar. I wrote it out in a poster and placed it above my wall in my bed. And every night I would sit there and memorize the first 11 frets of a guitar, because, it starts over at the 12th fret here.
Right.
So you would learn, open E, you got E, B, G, D, A, E, low E. So you got really 5 strings to learn. But I would learn memorization the first all the way up to the 11th fret of the guitar on all 6 strings. You break it down to like 1 string at a time, because if you learn the low E and the high E, it's the same notes, you see. So you really have to learn 5 strings. Really, it's not that complicated, but it really helps you. I will tell you, when you start running sheet music, you can actually play so much faster and so much better. And I'll tell you one more thing that I did back when I was a kid, and my brother told me to do this, and I thought he was nuts, but he told me to start practicing 1 hour to 2 hours a night blindfolded. Wearing a blindfold and playing a guitar. Let your ears teach you, and like you're talking about learning albums and songs, you start listening, and you take out the eye perception, and your playing will increase 100%.
Right.
It will help you a lot. And I used to have, since like 14, I played drums and bass and guitar in all these different bands. And there was always 100 guitar players, but like 2 drummers and 2 bass players. So it's always better to be a bass player or a drummer, because everybody wants to play guitar,
That's right.
Especially in Nashville.
Let me hang on, David. I don't mean to interrupt you. Let me give a shout out to the chat box real quick, man. Sure. We got Michael Smith is in here. Michael, I hope everything's okay. He was going to jump on, but he's got some issues with a family member. I hope everything's okay, Michael. Manny's in the house. Thank you, Manny. And also another visitor we have, Nick in the States. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Nick in the States. I've watched his videos on YouTube. He does a lot of reviews on guitars and stuff like that. And so I've watched his videos plenty of times. And so Nick in the States, thank you for joining, man. If you're here, if you're still here, thank you for watching. And so that's pretty much it right now. Go ahead, Mr. Dave. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No problem. And I meant to ask if anybody has any questions. Just feel free to ask me anything. I've got a wealth of knowledge. I've got an electrical background, a software background, and I've been playing guitar since maybe early 13 or early 14. I saw Rush. The first band I really got to see was Rush. I think it was in 1980. Mm-hmm. I can't remember. It's so blurry when you're so young. I saw them at a very young, early age, and man, I wanted a drum set. So I had to learn how to play drums and be like Neil Peart. My hero at the time was Neil Peart, and pretty much still is. And I couldn't believe 3 guys on stage could make that much music. And my dad always pushed me into Bill Monroe, Lester and Earl and all that. I had to learn how to play bluegrass. And so I had rock music in one side of my peripheral brain, and then I had bluegrass over here on this side. But I was forced into playing bluegrass at an early age, so I had to learn all about key, tempo, playing live. I was very shy when I was a kid, okay? And when you get on stage with an instrument, it changes.
Oh, yeah.
It changes, okay? So I could be at school, and I used to read. I still read all the time. So when I was at school, I used to read books all the time, and they called me a book nerd, because I was reading everything from every kind of book under the sun. So what happened was, and then I'll tell you a really quick story. You'll like this, really. I think everybody will like this. When I was in 5th grade, I got pulled out of class one day because my teacher smelled smoke on me, like cigarette smoke. So what happened was I went to the principal's office, and I didn't know at first why I was in the principal's office. It's like, what did I do? So the principal says, look, we found out you're smoking. We can smell it on you. It's like, no, I don't smoke. I never smoked in my life. Okay. But I play music at a place called the Station Inn in Nashville. Uh-huh. It's a bluegrass. And what happened was, oh no, you don't play. You're only like I think it was like 13 or something like that. And it's like, no, I have to play. I play every night, like 3 nights a week or 4 nights a week. Oh no, you don't do that. They wouldn't believe me. So what happened is my dad got down and picked me up that night. He was mad. He's like, you don't pull my son out of school for this. He doesn't smoke, but you come down tonight at 9:30 tonight and you'll see him on stage. So my principal and my teacher came down and saw me playing that night, and they blown away because they were so cool, because they didn't realize that they had a person, a musician, I guess, in their school that actually plays professionally back in those days.
Right.
In the early 80s, So
cool, man.
And back in those days, man, every bar or every club was a haze, back in those.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's incredible. I think we may have lost somebody.
Yeah, Adam had to drop off.
Okay.
He said he'd try to jump back in just a little bit. He's got something he's got going on with it at the house he's got to take care of, and that's fine. That's no problem. Hey, how long have you had that VH mailbox behind you? I like that.
Oh, I got this a couple of months ago. You remember Dale Wolf had a contest with the guys on the show.
Right.
I didn't win, but because I was kind of like, I couldn't win anyway, because I was already on the show before. And if I did win, I couldn't accept the prize. You see what I mean? I mean,
I understand. Yeah.
I would feel guilty. I can't, I try to promote everybody's show, or the shows. And, so what happened was Dale made 2 extra ones. And, so when the contest was over, it's like, hey, Dale, do you have one for sale? He's like, sure, man, I got one. And I said, well, find out what the price is. And he's like, look, man, I know you. So he sold me one and it got here, and it's actually a mailbox. I'll pull it down and I'll show you the whole mailbox. It's really cool.
Cool, man. That's nice.
Hang on.
Hope everybody's doing well in the chat. Michael Smith, hope everything's all right, man. Nick and the State still in the house, as far as I know. Manny, hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this stuff, please give it a thumbs up, guys, if you can. I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It's a real mailbox. Man, this thing is awesome. I'm going to create my own show, really, but it's going to be more of a generic guitar talks. I want to talk about everything from Led Zeppelin to the Police to everything, because I've got so many interests. Van Halen is a great interest. Rush is a huge interest for me. But let me show you the mailbox too, real quick. But it's great, man. This thing is he did a heck of a job on this thing. The detail of this thing is incredible. It's
beautiful.
Now, he's got them where you can put them out and actually display them on your, mailbox. But
right.
I've got a cool idea that I want to do with this one, and but it's really cool. What I was going to do I was going to do a weekly show, maybe on a Sunday or maybe Saturday night or something like that. I don't know eventually, but I was going to put comments in the mailbox, and I was going to use that as a fulcrum to pull out like a weekly comment. Maybe pull out my weekly mailbox.
There you go.
And then open it up and pull a comment out. I've always thought that would be kind of cool. But that's what I bought it for, really. It's like and plus it's really cool. I had to buy one. So I'm a real collector for stuff. And you'll actually I have to switch cameras, but you'll see I've actually got some really cool steel Van Halen signs made. They're out of steel, and I got one chromed. Right. It's really cool. I'll show you sometime later, but it's pretty neat. But this is a really cool display I've got that I like. So
that's nice, man. That's really nice.
Yeah,
it really is.
And
now you live in well, I don't know if I should say it's Tennessee, right?
Yeah, I live in Nashville, right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. So growing up, I will tell you this from a Nashville perspective. Growing up, we have a music scene, but it was bluegrass, gospel, and country. That was it, and that's all we really had. So when I was growing up, I'm listening to Rush, Van Halen, Eagles, Police, everybody. I listened for everything from ABBA to ZZ Top. I mean, everything. See, my brother taught me at an early age, because when I started playing drums and then got into guitar and stuff, my brother told me, you can emulate people, but you got your own style. Okay. He taught me this. He said, look, you got to have your own style. David's got to be David. You can't be Eddie. Eddie's done his own thing. So he drilled that in my head years ago when I was a kid. And I adhere to that because, look, I can't be the next Eddie Van Halen. I cannot be the next Neil Peart, but I'm going to be me. But I'm going to you got to understand, look what Eric Clapton did for Eddie. Eric Clapton influenced Eddie. So this is what I was talking to somebody the other day. Think about this for a minute. If Eddie Van Halen influenced the next person, what will they be like? Because see, Eddie is so much further from Eric Clapton's here, Eddie's here, okay, then Jimi Hendrix is over here. You see what I mean? So if you bottle all those up together and put them into you could play everything. See, I play slide, I play bluegrass, rock, thrash. I played everything. I had 7 bands in high school. Okay, I played everything from bluegrass to thrash music in high school. But see, I always thought everybody did this. I thought everybody understood music theory. They learned all this. They learned to play multiple instruments. But I guess it was a little different because, I was so, I would come home, do my homework, and I would practice 6 hours a night on the guitar. And then one night I'd play 6 hours with drums, then 2 hours on bass, and then play mandolin, banjo, stuff like that. And but and also I'll tell you one more thing. Also, it's really crucial is learning by ear is really good. I mean, I know you can do theory. I mean, tablature, but it's better to listen to an album or listen to a song and dissect that song down to let your ears hear that's what Eddie did. And a lot of self-learners did. It's really great that way because see, you build your interpretation level hearing up. And also, this, when you play live, you only have one shot when you play live. If you mess up, you might as well smile and just laugh it off.
Because, you got to.
You have to. You can't take everything so serious when you play live. And I learned that too. It was really good. But
hey, Dave, we got a question for you in the chat box.
Sure.
Also, John Windsor, welcome, John Windsor. Nick in the States has a question for Mr. David Allen Wright. He says, David, I'm sorry I missed it earlier. What's the deal with the Les Paul with the Floyd carved out and a pickup hanging out behind you?
Good question. Let me go grab it and I'll tell you all about it, okay?
All righty. Please go ahead. And while he goes and gets that and comes back, everybody, please remember to visit thejoewentzproject.com for cool gift ideas and great songs. And now back with David Allen Wright.
Okay. All right. I'm kind of glad to talk about this because, I like talking about, all Van Halen guitars. I've got about 70 guitars in all different forms of acoustics. I've got Martins. I've got some old, I've got ESP guitars, Ibanez guitars. I got Kramers. I've got tons of stuff. Okay. So what this one is, Alex Lifeson from Rush has a Gibson Access model guitar. It's $5,000 for it, or $5,200, and it's got a Floyd Rose on it. This is a $325 Chinese knockoff. Okay,
right up Nick's States alley, right there.
Yeah, exactly, and it actually has the Gibson on it. I mean, it's okay. I when I got it out of the box, there was a problem with the Floyd Rose, so I ripped it all apart. And I just haven't had time to work on it, really. It's been tore down for about a month. And you'll see, I actually got 2 Ripley guitars over there tore down. I've had tore down for like 6 months. I'm trying to get to them when I can. This one actually has all the electronics. I'm wiring it all up. It's got it's got a battery pack. It's got an 18-volt power supply in it. I've got the electronics for it. I'm going to run the piezo. See, what it is the biggest reason I took it apart is I'm redoing the tremolo. I'm going to put the Graph-Tight Floyd Rose on it with the piezo pickups in it. You remember in Alex Lifeson's guitar, he has a Floyd Rose with a piezo pickups in the bridge saddles. Okay. Graph-Tight company makes it for him. I saw him at the NAMM show and I talked to him for about 30 minutes when I was at the NAMM show talking about, and I'm going to get one of those tremolos and put it on there, and I've got to take the 6 signal wires out of the back, wire it through, and I've got to put it through and tie it into series with the tone systems. I'm going to tell you another thing I'm going to do to this guitar, because I actually have 2 of the old Jimmy Page Les Paul models. I'm going to wire this one up just like the Jimmy Page Les Paul. It's got 18 different, push-pull sounds on it. You have 18 different sounds because it does cold tapping. I'm going to cold tap these. I'm going to replace these pickups with real Gibson pickups with cold tapping.
Okay.
So what it is I'm using the guitar as a shell is what I'm trying to say. The guitar is incredible. The neck, it doesn't even have a scarf neck. I had to order this custom. I had to tell them how I wanted to make it. The neck, see, most Chinese guitars have a scarf joint here, if you could see.
Yeah.
That's a big no-no. And Gibson, the real Gibsons don't have it. So I sent them pictures in detail and paragraph emails explaining how the guitar I wanted. And they built it for me the right way. It costed like anything can be made in China. You just got to spend time and give them research information and give a lot of patience, and you can do it. So I got this thing made, and then as soon as I got it, I ripped it apart, and it's like, well, I get ready to build my Les Paul Alex Life's and Dream guitar, and it will come about soon. But that's a good question, because it's been laying back here in a corner for a little while. I'm trying to get to it, but I've got 2 of the original early Les Paul Jimmy Page models, and he signed one for me a couple of years ago at Gibson because I live not far from the factory, and he was in Nashville, and a friend of mine says, get over here with a camera and a gold pen, and he'll sign it for you.
Wow. Very nice.
Really cool. And he signed it for
nice.
me. Very cool. So
very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
I should have this thing done sometime maybe in February, because I want to do some modifications to it. I'm building it for my style, meaning I'm going to do a lot of modifications to it so I can have it for multiple tones. I want to set it where I can do like 20 different tones out of it with a piezo, and because I've got a Parker Fly guitar over here. Remember the old Parker Fly? It's around the corner. The black one, like Eddie used in 90. I have one of those, and it's got the piezo pickups in the back, and it's really cool. It's a graphite guitar, very, very light, and it's the original Parker. It's not the reissue. It's a real Parker. But I have so many guitars that I've got either tore down or completed, and I've got a lot of them in rack cases. I have I have altar cases.
David has his own laboratory there, everybody. If you're just tuning in, Dave is like a mad scientist. He has his own stuff there that he tears down and builds back up. But
it's like, here's a USA Wolfgang neck. Okay. This is the US version. I got the body in the other room. But this is the bindings off of it, but this is the factory 2009, the first year Wolfgang, and that's the bird's eye maple neck.
Oh wow. Okay.
I've got the body in the kitchen, and it's actually the bindings off of it, but I'm actually drilled a kill switch in it. I'm turning it into a white relic, the tour relic. I just got to get the neck.
Okay.
I got to get a neck.
Hey, Jim Guidry. I'm sorry, David. I'm just hollering at the chat box. Go ahead, buddy.
And I got necks and stuff. David Nesdahl hits me up all the time. It's like, man, you got so many necks, but not enough bodies. But I'll show you another neck. I found this in Las Vegas years ago. This is a real, very early ESP neck that Kramer built. It come on a Kramer guitar, but this is actually, it used to say ESP right here, but I had to, it faded on me.
Oh,
this
okay.
This is an old Kramer neck that's got the tilt back. You see it, it's got a tilt back here. It tilts back.
Yes.
And this is like a 1983 hockey neck. These are very rare. All right. They make reproductions of them now, but this is actually the factory one. I bought this. I was in Las Vegas at a pawn shop, because I hit pawn shops everywhere I go, everywhere in the country. And I found this guitar for $110 or $120 hanging up on it. And I saw the neck. It's like, man, I want the neck. But it come as a Strat body and everything. And I bought the whole guitar. It just had it didn't even have a real Floyd Rose on it. It had some knockoff tremolo on it. Right. So I bought it. And that night, straight, because I was still in Vegas for a conference. And then I went to UPS store. You remember the old UPS stores? I think they're still.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I went to the UPS store, borrowed a screwdriver, took the dang guitar completely apart, boxed it up, and sent it back to Nashville. And I'm still out there for a whole week conference. And the people there thought I was nuts, you know. So, because I didn't want to put it in my luggage, you know. The last thing I want is a body and stuff. This is way before 9/11, but it's like
right.
It's like 99 or 98, and but they thought I was nuts. I was stripping it. They said, "Why are you stripping a guitar down?" It's like, look, I got to mail it back to myself. It's like, but you're here. It's like, no, I live in another state. So they thought, wow, you know, so pretty cool. But I've got tons of stuff here, man. I've got guitars. And
how many amps do you have, David? You got a bunch of like EVH amp, Peavey amps, and how many amps do you have?
Oh man, I've got probably a lot of them are in the back bedroom, but let me think about this for a minute. I've got a Peavey 5150 block letter, number 4 of all. Number 4. It's number 4.
Wow.
It's serial number 4 on it. There's not even any numbers except 4.
Right.
I got that one. I've got an EVH signature series. So most people think there's a difference between the block letter. Like we got block letters. You remember that one you got, your block letter?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The reason, so that was the first productions. Okay. Then they come out with a production with the signature, and then they come out with the block letters had the old tubes. They got the tubes from Soviet Union back in your day, before they collapsed. Okay, so they're different. Okay. Now you look back in those days, you can get tubes sourced from like Baltic states of Russia, but now you can go and get like JJ's or Sylvania tubes and all that stuff. I can get into that, a whole different subject, because I can talk about tubes for an hour. But what it is, the other amp I've got is a signature amp, but it's got all these amps have got the production tubes in them. I never retubed them yet because I never use them really much, because I value the original tubes in them, and the original transformer. The heart of any amp is a transformer. Okay, so what happens is, I bought those two, and I got the cabinets, and I bought the stacks and everything. I bought, the cabinets with it, and the amps. The heads, are so unique. And then I bought a combo unit years and years ago. Bought it straight from Peavey, because I actually did subcontracting with them, and I used to get it pretty much free. I think I had to pay shipping and stuff, so like $60 or something like it. And I used to get all these amps and stuff. So then I got a combo. I got the first year combo. It's like number 15, or I had to look at the serial number. It's like 15 or 18, something like that. It's got the reverb plate. The old Peavey combos have got the reverb plates. They're really cool because they got the 2 speakers, and man, you run 100 watts through a combo. Those things are incredible. So
absolutely,
I've got a couple more Peavey amps, but like for country and stuff like that. So I play all different venues of music. And then I've got let me give me 1 second. Let me switch cameras and I'll show you something. Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
See if I can switch cameras. I don't want to get anybody sick from all the movement. Let's see here.
Oh, I like the diver down mouse pad.
Yeah, I'm actually a scuba instructor, man. I used to I do a lot of things, man. I have a lot of peak interest and stuff, but I've been scuba diving since 1999, and then
Nick in the States says Peavey old reverb was actually pretty good, David. That's what he's.
Oh yeah, man, I want to switch cameras. But see what it is, I've got another camera right here in front of me, but I can't get it to work. I was going to swing over and show you my Peaveys. Let me see if I can do it this way. Hang on 1 second. All right. It's hard to see because I got a case here. Hang on 1 second. Okay. I got to move a case out of the way, and I'll show you my amps.
Okay. Very nice. Very interesting. Wow, I love those amps with the painted face plates on them or whatever. That is so nice. That is so cool, man. It's very nice. Very cool. If y'all like this stuff, please give it a thumbs up. and share it. And please subscribe if you can, if you haven't subscribed already. If this is your first time tuning into the show, welcome. My name is Joe Wentz. This is my channel. I love to do guitar cover videos and do some live chats such as this right here. So thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll come back for some more. I hope so.
Okay, sorry. It's kind of at an angle because my camera is permanently mounted in.
That's okay. Just give me a quick rundown on what you got.
Okay, so there's two cabinets here. All right, it's a 4x12 special edition cabinet here at the bottom. I'll kind of point to it.
I got you.
Sorry, I've got cases over here because I've got so much. I only have so much limited room in my living room, and this is my living room. So there's a 4x12 special edition cabinet, and the first amp here is a special edition EVH Stripe series. They came out a few years ago. They're the special limited edition, and then that's stock. That amp is completely stock.
It's nice, very nice.
All right, the second one is I bought off of eBay for $600, and it was a modified first year or second year, maybe it's first year. And I know all about amps. So what happened was the guy had a complaint problem with this one when he had it. He used to gig with it, and it had some hissing sounds. And what I did was I figured out the problem. I bought it from him and brung it, tore it apart, and then actually put the white faceplate. Not to get into too complicated, but I actually I've got a template that I can make these steel templates. The black and the white ones, the stripes.
Right.
I've got the steel one. I'll have to show it to you sometime. It's over there. It's actually above everything, above the Variac. But I've got a steel plate that I can paint. Just like the EL34. It has a gold one. Okay, so what happened was I got the amp, and I went through it and retubed it, put JJs in it, boosted, I biased it, and actually went into because this thing has digital circuitry in these. So this one thing you got to be careful about with the 5150s from Fenders. They're okay. So the Peavey versions are like the old carburetors in cars. Think about it, the old technology. Okay, because they were from the 80s, early 90s. Okay. The Fender versions are like the fuel injection. That's what I'm trying to give you elaboration on. They're digital. They have digital circuitries in them. So when you run a Variac on them, if you see up above, there's a Variac up here. I got a Variac, and you can limit the voltage. But you got to be careful because they have digital circuitries in the amp. So you got to be careful about messing with the preamps in them. Right. I will forewarn you about the preamps. I'll have to go into a whole story sometime. I'll have to do a whole dedicated show on amps, on how amps work and how preamps work, and post amp, your preamp, your tube amp, and then your amplifier part of it, and then your output transformer. I can go through all that eventually, and your caps and your capacitors and all this stuff. So what happens is on this amp, I went through it and modified it almost like the Stealth. It's got all the, it's called, there's a company called B2 Modifications, and I ordered the kit. They wanted me to send the whole amp to them. It's like, no guys, just send me the parts. I'll do it all myself. I got, I'm a electronic guy. I know all about everything. I know everything about electronics and stuff, because I know how to design circuits and stuff. So after on the phone call for 20 minutes, they finally sent me the kit, and I took the amp apart and did it all myself. And because I like doing my stuff, I really like trusting myself for stuff. If I mess up something, it's me to blame, not some amp guy or something. But not to say that there's plenty of great amp guys out here anywhere in the country. But I like doing all my own stuff, really, to be honest with you. But then, that's the two Fender amps I got. And these things are ripping loud, I will tell you. Now, I do run a choke on them. I do a choke at low volumes, but you have to stay away from the Variacs, because you can only use those on like the old Marshall Plexis. Like Ed used to use the Variac on the Marshall Plexi he had a 69 and a 72 Plexi. And then on these, you got to run a choke on it like a Marshall brake. You ever heard of those? They're like a Marshall brake. You can actually choke the amp down so that you can get that. Because see, you want that crunch sustain, but you got to have an isolation room or isolation area, because if you don't, it will never sound. You can't stand in front of one of these things because it's so ripping loud, and that's where you have to have isolation booths or isolation chambers. Like most studios have an isolation room where their amps are in one area, right, and their heads are in the control room, but they're ripping loud out in one area, mic'd up. So
okay. But, hey, just real quick, David. I'm sorry, excuse me. No. We're getting into the last 12, 13 minutes of the show. If anybody is friends with me on Facebook, go through Messenger. If you want to call into the show, just go through Messenger and call. We can put your call live on the air. If you want to do that, just letting you know that's how we take calls here, is through Messenger. If you're not friends with me on Facebook, send me a friend's request. I'll accept it. And then, next time we're on, you want to call and get on the show, I'll take it through Messenger, put you live on the air, and you can ask questions or comments, whatever you like to do. So we got just a few more minutes to go, gentlemen. Is there anything else you'd like to add there, Mr. David?
No, let's field some questions, because I feel like I've been talking so much, and I don't mean to take up so much of the show. But
that's okay. That's all right, man. Adam is back. Adam, everything okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Sean Mahoney's in the house. I'm sorry, guys, when I'm using my device here to look at the chat box, but I'm actually looking at my YouTube page as an outsider. So I'm not logged into my YouTube page, so I can't comment. So that's why I'm not physically commenting on the chat box. So I apologize. So that's why I'm looking at it every so often to see what's going on. And if anybody has questions or anything like that, then I can see them and respond via this video here. Okay. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, man, for that. Adam is my wingman tonight on the chat box and everything. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that very much. And gentlemen, I'm going to get ready to check out of here. I got to get ready to split. I just got notification from in here, if you know what I'm talking about. And so I got some things I need to help do and get things wrapped up for tonight. And because I do have to work in the morning. And I would like to say thank you very much to Adam Schonberg, Mr. David Allen Wright. Stefan was on here earlier, but his phone crapped out on him. He had to leave. And Sean Mahoney, it was nice to talk to you, man. We talked before we went live, and it was very nice to talk to you and nice to meet you. Everybody's very, very nice. And everybody who was in the chat box, thank you very much for stopping in. Jim Guidry, Sean Mahoney, Manny, Nick in the States, thank you very much. Adam, of course. Michael Smith, I hope everything is okay, man. I hope everything is cool. And so if anybody has any final things, we're going to get ready to split. Anybody got any last things they'd like to say?
I just want to say that if you guys ever want to get a hold of me, just hit me up on Facebook. I'm pretty much on Facebook most of the time. It's very hard for me to do some of these shows and watch these shows because my career is really demanding in what I do. So when I do, I try to watch a show maybe 2 or 3 days later on some of these other shows. But you can always hit me up on Facebook. I've got quite a bit of information and knowledge of certain guitars and amps. So if you ever need any kind of technical question, just hit me up, guys.
Very nice. Thank you, Mr. David Allen Wright. And thank you for showing us your laboratory. Thank you for everybody else who has been tuning in and who was on the show. Thank you, gentlemen. And we're going to get ready to end the broadcast now. Please feel free to check me out. Facebook, it's just Joe Wentz. And if you also get on Facebook, you can go to the Fans of the Joe Wentz Project page. I'm right there. Be sure and check out our friends at EVH Gear Live, their Facebook page. Check out Johnny Bean on YouTube, Dave Nesdahl, Rob Johnson, and all that great stuff. Be sure to check me out at thejoewentzproject.com. Thank you very much, everybody. See you on the flip side. This is Joe for the Joe Wentz Project. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Have a good evening. Take care. Bye-bye.